Hello everybody. Let's see if we're live. How we doing? Are we going well? Let's have a little look-see. Stream health is good. Excellent, excellent, excellent. How is everybody doing? Is everyone looking forward to some reveals? Some big reveals from GW. Let's have a little look. Let me just check to make sure everything is working on the screen wise. Yeah, right. That should be working quite nicely. We'll get that when that's on. Happy days. Oh, happy days. Oh, nice fluffy beard. Good stuff. So, what's everybody thinking we're going to see today? What's what we all thinking we're going to see? Are we thinking we're going to get some stuff? See some cool things? I am definitely thinking we're going to be seeing some of the new Space Marine stuff. I do think that's going to happen. Definitely think that's going to happen. I'd be interested to see if the Tomb Kings and the Bretonnian references that they had with the little hats is going to be a thing and is going to happen. Because originally I thought that may well be Blood Bowl, but obviously there's no Blood Bowl reveals, so that's not happening. So it'll be interesting to probably see what old world stuff we get. The Horus Heresy is going to be an interesting one. Hopefully they don't get trolled as too hard. The anger hopefully is simmered down somewhat since the PDF announcement. Although I do think that there is elements of that they've shoehorned in quickly. Bearing in mind that was meant to drop on the day of release, but it's now coming after release. So obviously there will be some tinkering with that. And, how hard is it to take a command squad profile and give them the stat line for jetpacks? Because that's basically what they're doing there in certain elements. So I'll be interested to see what the Heresy is going to get. I think we'll probably, for the Horus Heresy, we're probably going to see the Cataphracti Terminators. Possibly the Custody Guard female. I'm saying it now. I'm still saying that Custody Guard that they previewed or teased for the Heresy is 100% a female Custody Guard. So be prepared for a female Custody. I do think that's going to happen. So the Cataphracti and possibly some new tanks. But the 40k is probably going to be the new Space Marine stuff. And a little teaser at the Leagues of Votann, which I believe is the next codex to be shown, because we already know what the Black Templars are getting. So I think the Leagues of Votann will probably get teased. The Space Marine stuff for 40k. Age of Sigmar, I think it's 100% the Chaos Dwarfs. Like, I would be surprised if we aren't shown the Chaos Dwarfs. Or at least their launch box. I think it's kind of probably going to go like the other armies that we've had that have been introduced to the settings, like the Emperor's Children and the Cathay. They'll get a launch box. They'll get new units and stuff, and then like at a later time, a few months down after that, they'll get the main release, and then the rest of the sort of release will come along with it. So it'll be interesting to see how that's going to play out. But I do think it's the Chaos Dwarfs for Age of Sigmar. Legion Imperialis. Ooh, it's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. I think Legion Imperialis has pretty much got everything, hasn't it? Is there anything new that the Legion... Maybe Fellblades? I believe that there is no actual epic scale Fellblades yet, so maybe them. Is there Terminators in Legion Imperialis? I don't think there is. So might even get like Terminators and stuff like that. And obviously Saturnine Terminators, Saturnine Dreadnoughts. That's probably what's coming for Legion Imperialis, to be fair. To think about it, that probably makes a little bit sense. I mean, they are now in the larger scale game, so it makes sense having them for the smaller scale game. But yeah, should be quite an interesting one. What's everyone thinking? What's everyone thinking that we're going to get? I'm just reading the chat on the GW stream. There's a lot of people talking about Grey Knights. Yeah, you know, somebody actually wishful thinking, asking for an Emperor's Children Hellbrute. I don't think that's happening. But yeah, I've been building my my old world cafe. In fact, just there is the first cannon, and my Jade Lancers are all built. Just working on my my Jade Warriors, first unit of 15. Out of my battalion box, I'm building 2 units of 15. My 2 cannons and everything else, and then that'll give me the basis to fight games. Just need to add some heroes to that. Then I can actually start playing some games. And then I'll get another battalion box and bump those 2 units up to 20, and then have 2 10-man halberd detachments to sort of fight along the sides. And then I'm going to start looking at getting some lanterns and sentinels. Really excited about the Jade Warriors, well, the Cafe army as a whole. Be interesting to actually see if we actually get any news on any potential new Cafe in the future. I think over the next year we will see some new Cafe, to be fair. So yeah. All right. So there's about 20 minutes to go before the stream, before the big reveals. So what does everyone think we're getting? What do you all think we're getting? Oh, knackered. So I'm going to be doing this. Probably just I'll probably jump off just after 8, so I can get ready for work, and then we'll get this done. We're getting I've got all sorts of new buttons now on my thing, like top fans. Who is this? Be the first on the leaderboard by. Oh, okay. I don't really ask for super chats and stuff like that, but you know, if anyone wants to do one, feel free. I don't even think I've got the alerts on this screen, to be fair. I think I've turned all that off, so it won't come up. I will actually have to reset up the stream. It's kind of sort of a bit of a mess, to be fair, since stopped streaming on Twitch. Oh, Valrak is getting slated in the GW stream chat. It'll be interesting to see what he's said this time. Oh, Valrak. Never change. Never change. He's the ultimate grifter. Ultimate grifter. But yeah, the Heresy drama was funny. It has been hilarious seeing the Heresy drama. The whole drama around the leaks, the whole drama around the PDF being announced. It's been amusing, absolutely amusing. The memes have been legendary. I think it had a massive impact on the sales. I mean, like, I don't even think, like, even if you look at Element Games now, I don't even think it's been moved to back order yet. I think it's still available to pre-order. It is indeed. The only thing that is on back order is the actual rule book. All the Libra books and everything else is all on is still available to pre-order, which is mental. Because if you think about the other things that we've had from other releases, they sell out like that, and they, Lucius the Eternal is still on back order. You still can't get hold of him. I don't even think you can get him from GW, and that's crazy. The Cathay stuff, I believe, is only just starting to come back for independent stockists. You can get it directly from GW, of course, but yeah, for such a big, like, a release and a big edition, for it not to be sold out, and people complaining that they can't get hold of it, it seems to be readily available, and it's just not going anywhere, which is kind of nuts. So yeah, it's kind of mental. So I do think the whole drama of the leaks has impacted the sales. I think that's probably what prompted GW to drop that article the other day. It's funny watching Pardo kind of sort of make videos and stuff about how he was right. Like the Warhammer influencers never got sent the PDF. They haven't been sent the PDF. We know this because Winters basically told everybody what was in the email from them, like all the Libras and the rulebook. They haven't been sent the Talons of the Emperor PDF or the Legacy PDF. So none of that was sent. So he has no idea, or had no idea up until that point, what was going to be in it. So to try to sort of be smug and act as though you're somehow vindicated is kind of wrong. You didn't know. We all knew there was going to be a legacy PDF anyway. Because there's one for second edition. So there obviously from the second edition stuff, there's potentially going to be that carryover from one edition into another edition, which makes sense. That makes sense. But to try to sort of act as though you knew what was in it no, and try to feel somehow superior or smug that you were right and everyone else was wrong. No. Nobody knew what was in that document other than GW. I firmly believe that they've added things into it since the backlash. Oh, we have news, we have noise. So what I'll do is I will just turn that down a little bit. We got music there, but we got music there, but it's still like 13 minutes out. So yeah, I think they've definitely added things into that PDF. I think the Siege Terminator squad with are basically the Terminators with power fists. The Praetor command squads, jet bikes and outriders, are basically allow you to use your command squads. There's a lot of contradictions in that article. Like Games Workshop say that they want players to be able to just buy one box. Yet, if that was the case, then you need to remove heavy weapon squads and assault squads and any squad. In fact, most squads need to be removed from the game, because in Horus Heresy you're going to be buying a box of Marines, and then you're going to be buying upgrade kits. So that's buying two boxes. So there isn't any specific out and out unit boxes outside of command squads, tactical Marines, assault Marines, and then the tanks. So they kind of contradicting themselves there. There's no reason for Iron Warriors and Iron Havocs to be in a Legacy PDF. They should be in the Libra book with a special rule, because all they are heavy weapon squads that have a funky rule to tie in with the Legion. That's it. There's nothing crazy about them. There's nothing ultra unique on the table to sort of mark them out. They are literally Iron Warriors heavy weapon squads. So that makes no sense. So yeah. If they had access to slightly different weaponry that isn't available in those heavy weapon kits, I could completely understand that. But there isn't. So it makes no sense whatsoever why that would be a thing, to be quite honest. So yeah, not sure what what they're getting at for that one. But the 40k-ification of Heresy has definitely now started. They've made vehicles worse. Like, vehicles are terrible now. One glancing hit can take out a tank for the entire game. If you can't roll a 6-up on that repair roll to take that tactical status off the vehicle, that vehicle isn't doing shit. So you're going to either need a tech marine nearby to be able to get that 4+ to get that back on. I think rhinos can repair themselves on 5s. Land raiders do it on 6s. But yeah, you take one glancing hit from a las cannon, that tank is gone. Gone. It's just going to sit there for the rest of the game, pinned. That is terrible. They've really screwed over tanks in this edition. Which is saying something considering from what they were like in 2nd edition. But I do think this is the start to move to towards how vehicles work in 40k. I do think that's going to happen. I do think the Heresy is going to get more 40k in the next edition, which we all know is going to be coming in 3 years' time. So 2028, 4th edition will be coming, guaranteed. So yeah, it's welcome to the fun times, Heresy players. You're now in the cycle of just recycling shit all the time, just like 40k and Age of Sigmar. But speaking of 40k, Space Marines. Definitely think we're seeing Space Marines. Definitely think we're seeing Space Marines today. Definitely do. So everyone who's in chat, what do you think we're going to be seeing? What do you think we're going to be seeing today? What lovely new toys are we all going to get to see? It's warm in this room. I am very intrigued with the new Blades of Khorne for Age of Sigmar, I'm not going to lie. I have Scarbrand in my cupboard behind me. He's part built. He will probably be getting fully built and painted now. Definitely think that's going to happen. The Blades of Khorne look interesting. They really do. Okay, so we got a picture. 100% confirmed. Chaos Dwarfs. Look, they've got a picture. So Chaos Dwarfs are definitely on there. There's a Space Marine there. There's definitely a Space Marine. Let's just go and have a little look at the Warhammer community page, because that's where that is. Yeah, that is Chaos Dwarfs. 100% Chaos Dwarfs are on there. There looks like a Necron. There looks like a Necron or a Necron type thing. That blade, that's a Tomb King. So So there you go. So they're right in the middle there. That's a Chaos Dwarf. This guy down in the bottom, this one right here, this one is, that's a Tomb King. That's a Space Marine, probably one of the new veterans. The Mark II Assault Squads, Assault Marines. This, not too sure what this is. But yeah, this is definitely a Chaos Dwarf. That's a Space Marine. This is a Space Marine. Actually, that looks like a Knight of some description. But yeah. Yeah, that's... I definitely think there's some... But that is definitely a Tomb King on that bottom line. Mark II Assault Marines for Heresy. So yeah, interesting... Some interesting little previews there. Some interesting little previews. But we'll get that in short order. So yeah. So yeah, that is definitely Chaos Dwarfs getting shown. 100% Chaos Dwarfs getting shown. Interesting. Interesting times for AOS fans. They're going to be good. See, this is the problem with the reveal shows. I get all excited and then I'm like, ooh, what new things am I going to get in the future? But we got 4 minutes. 4 minutes. 4 minutes. So yeah, I'm pretty excited now. I think the Heresy stuff's going to be pretty bland. I think it's probably just going to be those Mark II. Chaos Dwarfs would be cool. I know people have been asking for them for a long time. Yeah, I think the problem with Chaos Dwarfs going to Age of Sigmar first, rather than the old world, is a little bit problematic. But it's nice to see them coming back. I mean, like, Chaos Dwarfs haven't been on the tabletop for quite a long time. So it's exciting to get them back. But yeah, there's definitely some silhouettes there that I'm intrigued to see what they are. There's a knight-looking guy that looks like he has a big sword. There's definitely a Tomb King on there. A lot of models like the Wood Elf, Jump Marine, and Chaos Dwarfs were already shown. Necron models could be fun. Well, we haven't seen the Chaos Dwarfs. No one's seen the Chaos Dwarfs. We knew they were coming. I mean, it's like the worst kept secret ever. You know what I mean? It's like, holy crap. Worst kept secret ever. But yeah, it's interesting. I just want to see if they tease the 40k Space Marine refresh. That's meant to be coming. But we're going to be finding out in 3 minutes. I mean, what else can we get from that picture? What else can we get? There's potentially a Leagues of Votann on there. Like, if you actually look at it on the right-hand side, right underneath the download button, that could be a Leagues of Votann. So there's potential, I think there's a Leagues of Votann in there somewhere. There's also a bat as well. On the bottom line down here, that's a bat. Well, looks like a bat. In that bottom left-hand corner. Now, does that mean that we're potentially going to get vampire counts for the old world? Or is that going to be something like Underworlds? Because bear in mind, Underworlds is being previewed. So, but there's definitely the Chaos Dwarf in the middle. That's definitely a Tomb King in the middle. That axe on the right-hand side is definitely Yeah, the Iron Hand dude. This potentially, yeah. Well, there is meant to be quite a few Space Marine characters coming. So you know. Oh. Nope, still not there yet. But yeah, there is meant to be there is meant to be the. I think from the rumors is there's supposed to be a White Scars character on a jet bike, Pedro Canto, Lysander, and an Iron Hands character, a Raven Guard character, and Vulcan Heston. They're supposed to be your 6 new characters that are coming to Space Marines. And they're apparently supposed to be getting a combat patrol box each, and there's all that kind of stuff. I think Valrak was talking about a Terminator box full of like assault Terminators. But I don't know. I like. There's potential for that, I suppose. I think the big reveal is the Chaos Dwarfs. Like, I don't think you're going to get massive things for the other game systems. I do think the Chaos Dwarfs are the really big one here. Are the big ones. So yeah, exciting times. But yeah, the Chaos Dwarfs are going to be a huge sell. I think it's about time some Age of Sigmar got some serious love, to be fair. Well, we are in, so I'll turn the volume on and we'll jump over onto it. There we go. So we are in. Let me know if you can hear it. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. It's going to be overhyped, people. Remember, they like to overhype things. So just going to ask everyone where they're from. Season of Dwarfs, Chaos Dwarfs, and possibly some new, much-needed Votann models. Yeah, I think the Votann are definitely going to get shown. There definitely looks like a Votann on there. Definitely does look like a League of Votann on there. I'll be doing like more in-depth like videos on the major releases tomorrow. So if anyone hasn't watched this or wants to, I'll be talking about them a lot more tomorrow in videos after I get up. Did you say an hour and 90 minutes? Thankfully, I had a shower before the thing, so I just have to get dressed.
Yeah, I've been doing a little bit of Horus Heresy hobby. I did, and I did. So I've got some white scars on my table at the moment. I'm all sprayed up, and I've started painting a jet bike using some of the Horus Heresy transfer on the side, so it's very nice. Awesome. Looking forward to getting those done. I've also got some Space Wolves. I bought the new Space Wolf box. Like a lot of people, I'm very excited by the new Space Wolf army as well.
Space Wolves are nice. I'm enjoying mine.
The short answer is yes. I bought myself a new kill team for the home team yesterday, and I'm going to have a crack at that. I'll be painting kill team stuff.
I'm going to stick my headphones on, just in case you guys are getting any feedback through my microphone.
Throwing skulls with my good friend Damien O'Byrne, and we brought home a gold medal. It was super fun to play so many games with the Middle East Battle game together with so many lovely.
There you go.
I met a father and son team who'd flown all the way across the join in.
Ooh, that's a nice trophy.
The mountains.
What an unexpected journey.
Literally. Tremendous. So I hope you get to tune in wherever you are. It was really fun. Thank you to all my opponents who played and then
I think your Kislev are going to be safe for now. The Kislev are going to be potentially not coming until 2nd edition.
Awesome. Right. So, as I said before, we've got about 90 minutes worth of
90.
Warhammer content. probably look to begin.
Yeah, let's get stuck in, shall we?
Right, so, Raph, come to the first video.
So just before we go in, the new guy, he's a little bit peculiar, but just bear with him.
Okay, cool.
Votann. Ooh. Ooh, well there's that guy. Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh wow, they're pretty nice. Awesome. They're pretty cool. I like them. Yeah. They're pretty awesome.
What an incredible set of reveals for the Leagues of Votann.
Yeah, so this is the largest release for the Leagues of Votann since the initial release of the army.
The much anticipated Wave 2.
For that force, there is new heavy infantry, there's new artillery, there's loads of new really characterful characters to add to the army, there's some new vehicles, all sorts of stuff. So there's the kind of shot of the full army there, but let's take a closer look at some of the specific models, specific units being added into the force.
That's cool.
With, so the Arcanist Evaluator.
Yeah, so within the Leagues of Votann, they're not afraid of developing technology and expanding their understanding. And so an Arcanist Evaluator is kind of, aside from the ordinary hymns or the war bands that operate, he's a member of the science guild that are responsible for new technology.
But these are kind of cool. I like this. It's like 40k version of Caradron Overlords.
And on the highest one, it literally triggers lethal atomic transformations. What that means is death.
Yeah, so he's taken out his new experimental weapon basically to the battlefield to see if it is, as he suspects, powerful enough to melt space marines, tanks, or Tyranid monsters, whatever you happen to come up against.
Pretty much yes to the
Pretty
above.
much yes to all of the above. He's not part of the official sort of Leagues of Votann military hierarchy, so he doesn't join your units necessarily, but he kind of hangs around in your army next to them, and you've got kind of low operative ability if he's near your infantry, that sort of thing. But a very useful character little model to add into your Leagues of Votann force, and a nice way
He's pretty cool. Yeah, the mortar looks pretty awesome.
Culture of the army as well, to Leagues of Votann.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a glimpse behind the sort of the curtain, isn't it? And you can see some really cool things that sort of key into that. It's got these optics on his weapon. You can almost imagine sort of
It looks like he has bionic eyes.
the result.
That's a very cool head as well, kind of mad science vibe to it.
Yeah, and if you wanted to, there's a separate, a different head you can have with this helmeted, or if you just fancy some health and safety protocols, then that's the way to go. Next up, my absolute standout favourite. This is the thing that made me march into the Warhammer world yesterday and buy some Leagues of Votann models for myself. The Memnir Strategist. He is an Ironkin. Those of you who are fans of the League of Votann will understand that the Ironkin are essentially...
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Not in their mind, but they're artificial intelligences which they hold an equal position within Votann society. There's a CU unit inside of each of them, and that's sort of within that iron dome that is normally his head. The first really cool thing about this model is that you see the little noodly things on, in the Imperium we call them mechadendrites, like these cables that come out of him. Each of those is an additional CU unit. He is the combined intelligence of multiple Ironkin, essentially, and he uses that to enormous effect in terms of strategy and tactics on the battlefield, directing the efforts of the king around him. It keys into a rule as well, which is known as yield points, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. And most importantly, he looks amazing.
It's a very, very cool miniature. They're really characterful. I think also got some spare arms on the front there, which is holding onto his little data pad. He's tapping away on there and giving orders to all the various kin and Leagues of Votann units across the battlefield. And his main pair of arms he's used to hold in his contemplative state, which is the exact pose that I have when I'm considering my movement phase.
And if you want to dazzle your friends with some knowledge, the array he's got on his back is called a Cogniton mantle, and that's where he gets your brain out. Really,
I wonder if he gives the army extra CP. These are cool.
Eddie, what's the story?
Yeah, so this is the Ironkin Steeljacks. They are a specialist kind of more warrior type of Ironkin. A lot of the Ironkin are fairly sort of helpful.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, their default status is sort of
Iron and Kin Space Marines.
In very large suits of armour, so they stand kind of almost twice the height of a kin or a League of Votann warrior, and they have got some pretty decent weaponry as well. You can kit them out in a variety of different ways. You can either go combat leaning, this is an example there, or you can have like some concussion fists and bolt guns, or you can go with a ranged option. In game terms, they work a little bit like Wraith Guard, I suppose, is the closest approximate. So very durable unit, quite powerful weaponry, very good for doing things like moving on to an objective and trying to hold on to it and fighting off enemies.
The army did need something like that, to be fair.
Heavily armoured, extremely dangerous unit. You can see the leader in the squad. If you look at the picture,
No, this is the first thing that's popped up. Is the Leagues of Votann for 40k. I'm not too sure if Warcry is getting shown today.
we're not done. There's more.
That's cool.
Chromium Earthshaker channels some really strong energy from that sort of rogue trader era. Remember mole mortars for squat? So
This is very cool.
inverse artillery, and that rather than lobbing a shot high above the enemy, they fire those mole shells that you can see down at the bottom deep into the ground. They burrow in on the enemy and emerge in a trench line, in a bunker.
Yeah, upskilled Space Marine Reavers.
Fire armour in their own right as well, so you can see the kin there working with the Iron Kin, loading up the artillery. You can see one of them there with his little scanner, almost directing the mole.
They are pretty cool, and I'm glad they've got something.
Obviously, it's a powerful piece in game. You've got all sorts of nice kind of ways that this will bolster your League of Votann forces. At the moment, maybe doesn't have a huge amount of very long range artillery, and yeah, it's a great kit.
Awesome. Speaking of the bigger models that are inside this launch, we have the Capricus. So the Capricus is one of those kits that makes kin things. You can see here the Capricus Defender will show you the Capricus Carrier in a minute. Essentially, it is either a sort of attack vehicle for the Home King, or it's a transport vehicle.
That's cool. I do like that.
This is the Carrier, so it's a smaller gun. It's got less other weapons on it. You can see the stowage bag for the crew right in the back. Whichever you take, essentially this is enabling your Home King to get around from A to B.
Well, if you're trying to get into AOS, then you're going to enjoy it because the Chaos Dwarfs are going to get shown.
It carries 5 models, so it works a little bit like the other kind of Leagues of Votann transports, where you pick one of your units, it can split into 2 groups of 5. 5 of them can ride around in one of these. If you've got 2 of the transports, you can obviously ride around in 2 of the transports. And as you say, Adam, you can choose between either having the transport option, or you can just have all the guns and have a fast-moving flying support.
Yeah, to me this is stunning. This is what made me mark that to then buy this.
There's some really lovely little touches on this. With the stowage
But
bag.
yeah, that's nice. I do like that. It's like a little attack bike for the Votann.
Pilot and an Iron King gunner.
I'm at work. I'm only able to catch glimpses of the models, but I'm liking them so far. I don't play Votann, but I'd happy to play as them. Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Also,
The new Combat Patrol.
Votann on the way. We're all familiar with combat patrols if you're familiar with Warhammer 40,000. If you're new, let me explain what they do. It's a fantastic way to start an army. Or to bolster an army if you've already got one. This one really focuses on those sort of team bands that make up the mainstay of the force, with the funders in the background, the half right in the middle. So it's just wonderful.
I am a really big fan of the Leagues of Votann. I love the miniatures. They really are awesome.
No wastage there.
So it's all good stuff. A couple of boxes of these, and then a couple of new units, and you've got an army.
You're
Basically.
away. Yeah, absolutely. Now, on
Wow,
opinion, I expect
that is nice.
this is very Agneson. Eddie?
So Barry Agneson is the last survivor of a Leagues of Votann clan which has been consumed by the encroaching Tyranid menace. He is known as the Thrice Devoured. A Tyranid monster has actually eaten this guy, but that wasn't enough to keep him down. He clawed his way out of his gullet, climbed his way back out to safety 3 times apparently, and now goes across the galaxy, across the Kin Warband as a roving Tyranid killing specialist.
Yeah.
That is nice.
In terms of specialist, he is an absolutely elite combat unit. He's equipped with that Dark Star blade, which you see there, which is called Bane. He's pure violence in melee form.
I think you're going to get a lot of this guy in armies because his rules are very good. He's got a great combat stat line, but he's also a lone operative. So you can imagine this guy advancing either on his own or
So he's the Votann's version of Lucius the Eternal.
the big enemy
a member of, well, he's the only member now of an organisation called the Embered Aegmir Block, which is one of the leagues of Votann. Literally wiped out down to the very last king, which is this guy. And so he's so bitter, his whole life is devoted now to just hunting down the King of Menace and supporting other leagues.
Very cool.
The same thing happening to him. And you see that played out on his model. He's got this sort of belt buckle, which very much looks like he's sort of painting some affectation between the things. He's got what looks like we've been having quite a discussion about this Tyrannid Prime sort of cadaver.
I think it's a Tyrannid Prime that he's got over the top of his head.
Yeah.
There's a nice little nod in this model as well to the idea at some point that the squats were eaten by the children.
Yeah.
This guy kind of goes, well, yeah, they were eaten,
Pretty epic.
but also they clawed their way up again. So there is a little bit of truth to that sort of that outdated understanding, maybe, of what happened at that time.
Fantastic. And all this obviously will be supported with
And he's on the front cover of the Codex as well.
Warhammer 40,000.
Only the Leagues of Votann look pretty cool. They're pretty awesome so far. I think the big previews are yet to come. Apparently, this is going to be on till about 8:30, so it's going to be on 90 minutes, which is lucky I don't start work till 9.
Absolutely, yeah. So yield points effectively changes the way your army works over the course of the game, and it works in the way that the Leagues of Votann approach acquisition effectively. So early on in the game, when you haven't got very many yield points, you're getting bonuses for attacking enemy units on objectives for the most part across your army, and then later on, once you
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of dwarfs tonight. Space dwarfs and chaos dwarfs.
Yeah, so it encourages you to play in that very sort of acquisition-focused way that the League of Votann works.
And it's a really great mechanic, right? Because it's exactly how you win games of Warhammer 40,000. Early on, you kick people off objectives. Later on, you hold on to the objectives. So,
And some of the new units that you've shown and some of the units that already exist in the Votann army now have rules that key into that. For example, the Memory Strategist just lets you increase or decrease your yield score by 1.
Yep.
So really sort of thoughtfully put into this. I think it's totally tactical, fun.
So does that mean that they've lost the grudge mechanic then as an army rule? That they've got basically a new rule?
In front of us, we're very lucky to be allowed to put our paws on the heavy metal miniatures. So there'll be a bit of sort of scale comparison here, but here you can see this is the Arcanist, and then you've got the Lemnir. They're like normal Votann size, so any kin is about the same sort of proportion as those.
So they're Space Marine size.
The Steeljacks are. I think your comparison that you made to compare them to Wraith Guard is really quite fair.
yeah, they're about the same size as a Wraith.
Yeah.
In that ballpark of kind of medium heavy infantry. This is the new artillery piece. It's maybe not like as big as something like an Imperial Guard tank or something like that, but compact, mobile, that sort of thing, fitting in with the aesthetic of the rest of the Leagues of Votann. You can sort of imagine it starting life as a piece of mining equipment, and they sort of evolved it into a weapon.
You can definitely see sort of some of those origins. I just want to draw some attention to some of the super cool bits on it. This guy here, you can see over his shoulder, he's got a data slate. He's got this sort of like loading hatch that you can model open or close. On this side, you've got the case, which has more of the shells. You get spare shells to put on their own bases. It's just a really thoughtfully designed and very exciting kit. So we should show more about it, because this is by no means the end of it.
Absolutely, we've got the Capicus here, so just make some space on the table so we can have a look at this guy. So this is your new vehicle. This is the Defender pattern, which is the gun version, and as you can see there, there's a little bit of space, not quite enough space for transport on this one, but there is one which is a transport vehicle. But I really like the Ironkin on this. It's actually
He's got like a tiny little chair.
quite small, yeah.
So it's an impulsor for the Votann.
Perfectly designed for the gun.
Absolutely, and I guess the star of the show himself in many ways.
So the thrice devoured there. So it's still kind of kin sized, but you can have a look at this model here. That so much of him is now bionic, right? So he's been chewed up and
his fingers with it.
chewed up and spat out so many times that like his arms, most of his face, perhaps a kind of unspecified amount of his body has probably been dissolved by horrible Tyrannid bioacid in their stomach and things. But he's still kicking, but also shows how durable the kin are, right? So they're specially designed by their Votann to be durable, to endure kind of the most hostile conditions. He's a good example of how that kind of manifests.
Yeah, it's really cool, isn't it? So I think we covered the League pretty thoroughly, right?
Yeah.
Before we move on, we're going to go to the old world next. A couple of sort of housekeeping bits. The first one would be we're going to return to the 40th Thessalonian at the end of the preview. So, particularly if you like the kill team, but also there's some other things for other factions as well.
Space Marines.
Like Warhammer 40,000. The other thing I would say is that lots of the people who mentioned that they were joining us from around the world, you can interact with our social teams. We have sort of international social teams that manage our various sort of social media places. Here they are. If you want to get involved in the conversation in the language that suits you, go knock yourself out. They're really lovely people. They're really engaged and want to sort of make sure that you get to hear about Warhammer in the language that suits you. And if you speak English or you're going to take a pot shot at it, these are our socials as well. So do join the conversation. Right, time for a little bit of Warhammer.
Ooh.
So,
Tomb Kings. I called it.
brand new unit for the Kingdoms of Penrith. This is a new multi-part plastic kit made with Royal Heralds. The easiest way to describe these is that you have a battle standard bearer and you have a new hero / lord. You could make that and call it a king prince or a king prince. You get the battle standard, which you can put on all your things if you fancy a faster moving battle standard.
I was hoping for new skeletons. No, I'm not gonna lie. New troops would have been nice, but this is pretty cool. I like this.
In terms of head things as well, battle standard bearers are huge in Warhammer armies.
That is nice.
Yeah, I love this type of stuff. That kind of weird scorpion. Both the pink team and the model itself are very cool. As you say, this is multi-part as well, so you can swap your things. If you want the faster one, you've got chariot. I would imagine there's a fair bit of customizability between this kit and some of the other Tomb King bits as well.
Yes, yeah, not just the unit itself, but also I think things like the Steam Guard as well. So this isn't the only unit coming to the Kingdoms of Penrith. Also,
Wow.
who are
That's pretty cool.
workings, literally, of the Kingdom.
Yeah, you absolutely need mysteries in your army if you've got a Tomb King's army. Your army only woke up because you had mysteries.
They're nice. And plastic as well, which is pretty cool.
Keeps your army marching forward. Again, this is a multi-part kit with some lovely options on these.
So
A little bit less dead.
this raises the question:
Very definitely dead.
is the other factions going to get the same as this? Because there are a lot of rumors right now that they're going to be moving away from resin.
So thanks for bringing that back. It's a really lovely image. These sort of animated creatures that have sort of come alive through the magic of the rituals.
I think you were saying as well that looks like it's right out of a piece of Warhammer art. doesn't
Yeah,
it?
the mounted guy in particular, I think, they're both exquisite. But the mounted guy, from sort of the perfect angle, he just looks like the artwork. And I mean, that's the highest possible compliment. Tomb King veterans might be wondering if that's extra armour on the skeletal sleeve. It certainly is. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But yes, you can have a guarded skeletal sleeve, which might be quite useful if you're used to terrible armour setting. I guess we can talk about that now. We go across to also coming out is a new Arcane Journal.
Second Arcane Journal, which we all knew was going to happen.
The Imperishable is very, very angry. His lands have been defiled. He feels like he owns everything. He was launching a full-scale invasion northward into the...
I think this is the start of what Old World's going to get for the next year and a half.
Also inhabited by some dwarfs. You've got sort of dispossessed barons and nobles from both the Empire and Tony.
So Bretonians are probably going to be the next one up that'll get this treatment.
From Penrith. There are rules for sort of allied forces, playing smaller games in like a timely and interesting fashion. It's just packed, and it's a really cool way of looking at the lore of the old world and how we're sort of explaining the things that took place in specific part of the Warhammer time.
It's great to get some new lore for the old world as well. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
the team diving into the opportunities that the world allows.
And see what I mean about the artwork, right? So the guy in the centre, like just in this piece, it really just screams the energy that we saw before. I love it. There's another Arcane Journal coming, which is equally exciting. This happens to be the other side, quite literally, of the region.
We knew this was coming. It's got the armies, regiments of renown in the,
A bold strategic move made by Miao Ying, who's the lady who
which I will be getting this as a Cathay player.
children of the Dragon Emperor, and she learns of the Chaos Invasion which is happening in the north, and is concerned that it's going to gain too much traction, so loads ships full of Grand Cathayan soldiers and sails to the Empire, sets up an enclave and helps to try and stymie this Chaos Invasion. In real terms, that's A, a cool story, and B, there's rules in there for all sorts of things, including the opportunity to have an ally force of ground control and people power.
That's exciting. That's exciting.
That is
We've
good.
never had anything like that before. That we mentioned. So.
Yeah, so, and I think this is sort of a great example of the really bold and exciting thing that the studio team responsible for the Ultimate doing. They clearly love the setting and want to explore it in really rich and vibrant ways. Absolutely. So, we should go over to question corner and see what's happening.
No, we shouldn't. We should continue showing reveals.
Loads and loads of questions. I think the majority of them are focusing on the League of Votann, with loads of fun new toys coming out there, of course. So the first one is actually about the Judgment Card. Obviously, we've got the Yield rules. So what is that? So the focus in terms of the army mechanics is those yield points we talked about before. It's always good when we get a question that's like, can you tell me the really granular rules things? Because the answer is no, we've got 9 minutes to rail through as much stuff as we can as fast as we can. We'll cover way more detail about Votann rules and mechanics and those things.
So it looks like the Votann's army rule has changed then.
We've got another one which were the hunting drill shell tokens on the Kryptonian concept. So what did they get there? So I do have a really short and candid answer for that. You saw them on the little base side. The kit comes designed to have 2 of those. If I remember correctly,
they've already said that the Horus Heresy are getting the Arcane Journal style books for each Legion, and campaigns books are going to be done the same. They've already got the Dropsite Massacre one up for pre-order now, which is seems to be how they're going to be doing it.
Probably got one more, so let's go with how many models can we
It carries 5, so it works a little bit like some of the other Votann transports, where you take a unit of usually in 10s, you split the unit in half, so 5 of them can go in that. If you've got 2 of the transports, you can carry both units round in those, or you can leave 5 of them back on your baseline and deploy them.
Thank you. So we'll draw a curtain on the old world, but we will go to the mortal realms instead. There's some exciting things for us to talk about here.
So the Arcane Journal is basically those books that they just shown for the Warhammer the Old World. The Horus Heresy is getting a similar format. Flesh Eater Courts, there's a shock horror. Didn't realise that was coming. What are they getting that's going to be new?
Yeah, they absolutely imagine that they are in service to some Grand King on perhaps a Grand Crusade of some sort, or...
No, they're only 48 pages per book. So they're more like pamphlets.
Changes to some of the way the war scrolls work, so lots of exciting stuff. And perhaps most excitingly, there is a new miniature on the way to accompany them.
It's pretty cool. Well, I did say there was a bat coming.
Much like the rest of the Flesh Eater Courts, this guy is under an illusion. His particular delusion is that he is a falconer in charge of noble and wise avian creatures, where in fact he is...
It's bats. That's a pretty cool miniature.
The model is very characterful. He's got this kind of weird, crazy hat. He's got kind of
almost like the vestiges of that nobility that you're just referring to. Like a very sort of like huntsman style hat on, the tattered robes of the person that might be performing that duty, but he's also got guts hanging out.
It's a very fun miniature. I think in the spinning shot, maybe you can just picture that there is a bat that comes with him, which is basically a token that represents something in the game, where he sends one of his falcons off to spy an enemy unit, and that can give you bonuses in game, basically. So these are the kind of spies, the eyes and ears of the Flesh Eater Courts. And if you direct it to an enemy unit, it can give your squires, your kind of ghouls, bonuses against that enemy unit. You can do things like take away their ward save and get back to them. So it's very
Wow, that's pretty cool.
and a very characterful model to run.
Nice. There's also accompanying this release for the Flesh Eater Courts the Channel Watch. This is a new spearhead, so you can use it straight in game with spearhead, or you can use this to bulk out, or maybe you can use this to bulk out your existing Flesh Eater Courts army. This is a fast-moving, hard-hitting, infantry-focused spearhead. It's got models that you'll be very familiar with, and the way that they synergize within this game, within the spearhead, is really fun. Best sort of lightning assault, and then using monstrous science infantry to super.
Yeah. Also a great start to a larger Age of Sigmar army, Flesh Eater Court. It combos really nicely with the existing Flesh Eater Court's spearhead. So if you've got that already, you can add this in, and you basically got most of an army. Some really good stuff. A couple of the Cannibal Monkeys.
It's whatever you want.
He does.
There's another battle tone for the sort of Death faction, which is the Nighthaunt. We have Death Battle Tone Nighthaunt. They're a very popular, iconic faction within the Mortal Realms.
What are they getting? Another hero.
This book is like ram-packed with the lore that explains them all, as well as all of the war scrolls and information that you need. I was talking to an avid Nighthaunt player about this yesterday, who was super excited because he's sort of in the know enough to know, for example, that their ward saves are improving across the board.
Yeah, the undead have got a massive update. So, like this, the Soulblight Gravelord's got a big, huge update for Age of Sigmar. So this rounds out the undead part now for Age of Sigmar.
Their normal saves are a little bit worse, but you can now bolster them with things like all-out defense, and their ward saves are across the board a 5 or better. It's pretty good.
Yeah, perfect. But let's get on to the models, which is
Okay.
coming out with this release, which is the Lord of Vitriolic. This is a very disturbing creature. In life, it was something like...
Well, the guy from the cover was one of the units, but this guy's pretty cool.
Potions and curatives and deceived people and sort of let them down or led them to ruin. And Nagash was able to claim his soul because of his sort of malpractice and evil deeds. And reformed him into this horrific Lord of Vitriolic with backward jointed arms on the tip of his spine. Horrible, but really fun in the game.
Yeah, so he's got some very fun rules. So basically you can see his rack of potions on his back there. And the way that manifests in games is you can create specialist potions and pose them at enemy units.
You think the Bone Splitters will get an update? They seem to have been dropped. Bone Splitters aren't in Age of Sigmar anymore. Bone Splitters and the Beasts of Chaos were removed at the end of 3rd edition, so they won't be in 4th edition. They are Bone Splitters are essentially a unit upgrade for Orcs and Goblins in the old world.
Problem-solving unit, so you can go, right, what enemy am I facing? What I'd really like against this is this specific bonus or this specific debuff to the enemy unit, or just to do some damage. So I think you're going to see a lot of this guy in Nightfall.
Absolutely. And as with the Flesh Eater Court, they use Spearhead for the Nighthaunt. This is the Cursed Shackle Horde.
They're just not supported. Yeah, they've just been taken out the game completely.
Kickstart an army, reinforce an army, or play games of Spear.
Yeah, it's very cool, and obviously a great place to start a new Nightfall.
Yeah, absolutely. Those things were cool, but there's a lot of people here who have been holding onto their hats really patiently.
Here we go.
hoping that we may be
Here's the big one.
never ever seen before.
That would certainly be cool.
Well, why don't you start?
Oh yeah. Nailed it. They've absolutely nailed them. Holy shit, that looks awesome. Look at the size of that.
What an incredible reveal, Eddie! I know you're super excited.
I am very excited. This might be my new Age of Sigmar army. These are the Hellsmiths of the Shut.
There's the army set which I said would probably get.
Incarnation of the Chaos Dwarf concept for Warhammer Age of Sigmar, an entirely redesigned and brand new army, coming out first in an army set, arriving alongside its new battle tome. The army set also serves as the spearhead force for the Hellsmiths.
That is pretty awesome.
These models are phenomenally cool. The rules are great. The lore is great. I love absolutely everything about them. Let's dive into the minces.
I think first thing I want to say is let's talk about like why they are these. When the time of chaos happened in the mortal realms, the Duardin, they retreated. They survived in their holes, or they took to the skies, or whatever. But
not these guys.
But not so the Zardron.
That is nice.
Chaos Duardin, who have become known as the Hellsmiths of the Church. They instead turned to Hashut and ancient and terrible Duardin deity to taught them So, and their whole culture is based around.
They're called the Hellsmiths of Ashut. Chaos Dwarfs, basically.
Models. Let's dive into the first thing that appears in the new army set. These are the Infernal Cohort with Hasher-type spears. Say that fast if you can. They are the core units for the Hellsmiths of Hashut. They are an elite combat unit straight off the bat. These are very dangerous to ride indeed. And the first thing to observe is those Hasher-type spears. Each of them's got a glowing orb in it. That contains imprisoned, ground down, reconstituted demon essence. Because that's how they roll.
So the demon legions that invaded the various Duardin holds during the Age of Chaos, some of them took over the holds, but where the Hellsmiths of Shut dwelled, they instead trapped those demon legions and decided to weaponize them into a fuel to power their war machines, their weapons, and their technology. So that green,
Like the Hobgoblin guy.
demon juice that is powering the weapons of the Hellsmiths.
Yeah, it's so cool. Things to talk about within this unit. Obviously, you've got like a unit champion. You see, you've got a musician, which is like this weird combination of the bare-chested Duardin and a hobgrot carrying a massive gong on its back, and obviously a standard bearer. It's a two-for kit. As like internalism for this kit makes two different types of unit.
Yeah, they do.
Basically, shorter ways of killing people. They have different profiles within the game.
Yeah, both very useful. The spears generally are your slightly more expensive
Female dwarfs
enemy that's charging you against cavalry.
with no beards.
More offensive option where you get bonuses for fighting into enemy infantry and taking the fight to the enemy, but both effectively heavily armoured elite infantry.
Yeah, absolutely so. And you can paint them in different colours. The studio team's done a lovely job. The banner in the middle just is a really interesting nod to sort of the Zardron culture, which is that's a ziggurat in the middle of that banner, right, with the Bullfather's rune above. They live in ziggurat cities, and each one is ruled by a war despot. As if by magic, here is the war.
But you plan the whole thing.
This is my favourite model within this.
It's a great hat.
It might be
It's a
my
great hat.
favourite of the Hellsmiths. It's just so good. Huge hat, great big spikes, carrying an enormous warglaive which is glowing, sort of runes at the top glowing with this sort of eldritch power. The war despots, they have to rule through a mixture of sort of violence and also through just ensuring that everybody around them knows that they are the nastiest, toughest of all of the Hellsmiths. So they are dominant figures.
Yeah, like any Duardin, they couldn't demand the loyalty of their followers unless they were able to lead from the front, basically. So they're not
Yeah, but it's the vast majority of it's going to be metallic, which is going to be relatively easy to do. Like the vast majority of that is metallic.
And their whole reason for being as an entire culture is just like weapon.
If I can get hold of him, I'll do a painting tutorial on him.
Take from the land and they give nothing back. They don't want it, they destroy it. They are like cruel in the extreme because that's how they survive in time of chaos.
Yeah, they don't see themselves as corrupted through that. That's
No. There's no physical side effects at all to what they've gone through.
An interesting sub-point. They see themselves as almost the paragons of purest order, right?
Yeah.
So they've taken the assault of chaos and they've ground it down and created like order from chaos. But in the mortal realms, they're paving over the natural order and putting up the monuments to the Shuts and the great ziggurats that power their industry.
Very nice. I do like them. There's some nice details on them.
Just this incredible centerpiece model, the Dominator engine. It's another kit that makes two things.
That is insane.
Cannons. This is a enormous metal creation which is animated and powered by this demon energy.
I do love the sort of green smoke belly.
In its belly, you can see the demonic eyes peering out as like the demonic souls within a torch.
I love the flames on
give
these
it its
things.
power.
That kind of like green into purple fire is such a beautiful sort of aesthetic. This is both an incredibly cool miniature, which I think I'm looking forward to see what painters do with this, because the heavy metal one is wonderful, but I think once this goes out into the wild and you've got
You can see incredible interpretation.
1,000 painters painting it's going to be amazing. I can imagine this is a beautiful non-metallic. In game, this thing is an absolute juggernaut, right? So it has a 2-up save, armor save, which in Age of Sigmar is almost unheard of.
Yeah, that is.
It has loads of wounds, it hits really hard, and the combat version can mulch entire units. The shooting version is what you want if you want to wade into the middle of an enemy army and just set the whole thing on fire. Like a lot of the stuff in the Hellsmiths army, their kind of army mechanic allows you to harness human power.
You kind of have to work from your brightest point to your darkest point.
Also within the spearhead, you'll find this. This is the Tormentor Bombard. The Chaos Dwarfs of old, if you cast your mind back, if you're old enough like me, to the world that was, the Chaos Dwarfs were renowned for devastating artillery, particularly that lobbed themselves at the battlefield. There was that concept of beautiful from a bombard, raw demonic power hurled high into the air to come crashing down upon the enemy. It's deadly in the game.
Yeah, this is the war machine you use if you're being advanced on by multiple enemy units. So you can fire at a single enemy unit, and the units nearby also take damage. That's how devastating it is. Very long range. I think it's 30 inches, which again is very.
Not for now. I think we'll get them, but just not for now.
Have claimed to being one of the most devastating shooting armies in the world.
Well, let's talk a bit more about that, because I think we have the Death Streaker rocket battery.
I mean, the biggest thing that I've noticed with this is none of this looks like the Total War computer game Chaos Dwarfs. So, you know, there's no Infernal Guard or anything like that. This is very much a reimagination of them.
With a fair, with decent rolls, we'll take out a monster in a single volley.
You're firing essentially a demon energy imbued bolt the size of 2 This launch set also includes a battle tome. It also includes all the war scroll cards that you would
Standard army launch box. This box will sell out like hotcakes. The question is, what else is coming for them? Oh, wow. Holy shit. That is amazing. That is so damn cool.
If the launch box wasn't awesome enough, they will be followed shortly thereafter with all of those incredible models that you just saw, rounding out the force into a really substantial and impressive Warhammer Age of Sigmar army.
Yeah, immediately out of the gate you have almost a full army.
Wow.
Stuff, and
Bull Centaurs, awesome.
Of Warhammer returning. Bull Centaurs have been part of Warhammer for I think almost 35 years.
I remember being charged by these when I was like 13.
In their classic red with green bases back it was in the day. But this is a heavy cavalry unit. They are basically the experts at grinding down enemy forces and crushing them under their hooves. They hit very hard. They're well armored. These are the sort of manifestation of the power of Hashut in
They're nice.
Form. The Dwarden here are going to walk to be more alike to their ancient ancestor god.
Yeah, absolutely. You said it to me earlier. I thought it was really striking that Hashut's whole thing is like trampling the mortal rather than the foot. Yeah. Right? These are the Dwarden gods sort of inherited a different realm, and you get stuck with the realm.
So there's loads of really great lore in the new battlefield, and one of the things that comes out is the idea that there were the ancestor gods of the Dwarden, and Hashut was almost like one of them, right? He was like one of the pantheon, and he was given the realm of beasts, and he sort of felt that almost like an insult, right? Like, I don't want the realm of beasts. So rather than trying to kind of be harmonious with it, he decided to just trample it flat. So all of his incarnation of beast power is in the form of trampling, in the form of kind of harnessing and subjugating nature.
Yeah, so let's look at another sort of variation.
Yeah, there's the two-handed one.
These are the most devoted towards Hashut of
You ask and they shown.
holy places, whatever a holy place for the Bull Father Hashut might look like. They're much more defensive than the other Bull Centaurs, although by no means a passive unit. They're just really great at counter-punching. And when you consider how much of these sort of standing back and raining death on the enemy, very useful in their own right. You also get like a little interesting nod to that Hashutite culture, sort of breathed into it.
Just shows the big giant bull.
They also key into that sort of classic imagery that we're used to from before, as does the next unit. This is seamlessly segueing in. So here's some variations, but we have the Infernal Razors. Now, these have got blunderbusses, and if you are long enough in the beard, you might remember Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses from yesteryear.
The absolute
Oh,
terror of
yeah.
Warhammer Fantasy 6th edition, I think.
Yeah, diabolical.
Yeah, these would be super easy to paint.
Very dangerous shooting unit in their own right. Again, they're harnessing that sort of demonic power to operate their weapons. There's no gunpowder necessary here. The kit makes two options. So you have those and you have the flame hurlers, which, I mean, they hurl flames. There's not much more explanation particularly required.
Yeah, two really powerful units. The blunderbusses, not much to choose between them really. They both do a great job. The blunderbusses have got a little bit more range on them. The flame hurlers can fire while you're in combat, which is really handy. So even if you're fire. But the thing that really makes them is that through the army rule mechanic, you can power them up and power up the demonic energy inside the guns, which basically increases the rend on the guns. You can get these things up to rend 3 doing multiple damage.
Wow.
Absolutely horrific. So if the enemy is like charging your big unit of infernal razors, and you get like a decent round of shooting against it, you can wipe out things.
So they're not going to be overpowered much.
Now everything we've shown you really is quite value.
No, he hasn't. Not that I know of.
But what if you want some chaff to hurl under the wheels of the enemy, so to speak?
Hey, hobgoblin slaves.
Relationships between the Hellsmith and the Hobgrots, who sort of bulk.
Yeah.
Hobgrots are also really into doing awful things and desecrating the world, and so they exist as almost like a vassal state within the Zardron culture. In exchange for better weapons than they could like forage for themselves, they get to join the army and whack stuff. They fill a really interesting niche in that they are faster than the Hellsmiths and they can scout, right?
They absolutely can. So the way these guys are going to fit into your army, most of your force is going to be very good at shooting. But
No, they will. They'll be pretty OP for a bit.
But these can scout, as I say, so you can push them forward early in the game, grab those objectives, just get under the feet of enemy units. They will absolutely be used for things like trying to take a charge from something so you can set all your other units up for an amazing round of shooting, or to charge them with full centaurs or something like that. So you will absolutely want some of these in your force. We've obviously seen Hobgrots before in the kind of Cruel Boys force, but these are armoured and equipped by the Hellsmiths themselves, so they've got slightly better armour.
None of that sort of eldritch power.
Oh no, they don't get to play with any of the cool demon stuff.
So let's look at some of the
Demon Smith sounds awesome.
These are the Demon Smith. They are the ones who do the Hellsmithing, I suppose it's fair to say. You can see in this model there's some real sort of hints as to who he's obviously a wizard. He's got that demonic power sort of coming out of his hand. His tome looks like it's sort of etched in. I don't know what
like
stone it is.
Obsidian jade.
Yeah, exactly. With like vile runes. I think his lectern is animated. In a nutshell, they
How
are.
good is that paint scheme though? Whoever painted that in the heavy metal team, well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
It's just stunning. They fill a particular function because they're the ones that enable all of the health.
Yeah, they allow the kind of army to work. And in game terms, they do a particularly useful thing, as well as being a wizard, which is obviously great. They can heal your war machines as well. So if you've got any of those big infernal engines, or you've got any of your cannons,
He is pretty cool.
put the power back into them.
Yeah. This kit has another option in it. It also makes an ashen elf.
That's awesome.
The anointed centaurs, who are the ones who guard the holy sites. This is the person doing the rituals inside the holy sites. And you can see that petrification has started to happen to his skin.
Indeed, they do.
The more they start to become like stone, their skin cracks. If they're very powerful, they have the right magic available.
Hold it at bay a little bit.
Yeah, but doom is upon them. There's a couple of really interesting things. I like the staff. I'm just going to eulogise about how beautiful it is that the smoke makes it look like a beard. And you had a fascinating fact about the hammer.
Yeah, so there's lots of things that are really fun about this mission. If we go to a hammer particularly, there's not a lot of hammers in the Hellsmith literature, and one of the reasons is that hammers are actually seen as a slightly profane symbol to the Hellsmith because they remind them of the other dwarven ancestor gods, which really like hammers. But this particular hammer is blessed in the blood of other dwarven priests. So he would have like found a runesmith or something, or one of the Karajan priests or something, and then slain them in a sacrifice and blessed the hammer in that blood. So that's why he's the one with the hammer when no other
So
help.
if you're a Fire Slayer player or a Karajan Overlord
Oh, they hate
player,
this guy.
like pick on this guy the most, right?
The Karajans and the Fire Slayers really do not get on with the Hellsmiths. Like there is a lot. They've got beef. Basically.
Yeah, absolutely so. There's also another character we should talk about. This is Urakar.
That is insane.
Demonsmith. Back in that ancient time when the Hellsmiths needed to learn to survive, he learned the secrets of this demonsmithing from Hashut. He is truly ancient.
That is going to be seen in a lot of golden demons in the future.
The petrification on the back, like deep trenches of like rock starting to form out of his flesh, horns erupting from his skull. He's mounted on an enormous infernal, my brain's just blank, infernal Taurus. Just centipede written all over him. Incredible spot within the lore. Wonderful.
Yeah, very, very cool miniature. It's a 2-for-1 kit as well, which is really cool. It also makes your Demonsmith on Infernal Taurus. There's a bunch of options on this kit as well, which is amazing. So I can't wait to see what painters do with this kit. Because it is just asking for a beautiful colour scheme. You can imagine this in like beautiful.
He's really nice.
Glowing runes or kind of petrified rock or something else. But again, that kind of manifestation of Hashut as never deciding to use the natural materials, right? It's always going to be industrial in some way, or made out of iron or metal or stone or something like that.
And the only wood on the base is like
burnt to cinder. Yeah, you can imagine him walking through a forest of just like that.
Yeah. Should we take a look at some of the models in the flesh? We've got them here in the room with us, and we can give you some sort of
I've got ourselves a little lineup.
Yeah, looking good. Here is my personal favourite. You have the War Despot. He's a very chunky looking dwarf.
They are nice.
Infernal razor next to him, you get a sense of. Sorry, I'm just making all that harder with the camera there. Perfect. You can see like bigger in stature, more powerful. Moving along, you have the Demonsmith and the Ashen Elder. Teeny tiny little hobtot on the end of the line. Really quite sort of scrawny.
Just get the big boy out. How big is he?
The thing, just for kind of scale purposes, that's the same size more or less as the Hobgrets that currently exist in the Cool Boys range, so you get an idea of the size. Much larger. We have the Bull Centaur there, so you can see that the power of the shot kind of coursing through that guy. This is a fairly large cavalry miniature there. It's like on a scale with some of the kind of, I guess like Agrodon sort of size, that kind of.
Yeah, he's big to say the least, but not as big as. Terrible segue. Here we go.
Even beefier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's pretty big.
This is such a cool model. I think you can have a few of these in your army as well. There's a few different options for kind of heads and things. So I certainly expect to see a few of these making their way.
Let's bring in at least one of the artillery.
Yeah, let's get one of those. Right, so
the main event. Some of these.
we're running out of space. There's too much stuff in this release. It doesn't all fit on the table.
Anybody will be complaining. There we go. So you can see the two war machines.
Again, these have got like really lovely little dioramas on the back. So you've got
Yeah, this is just filler. This is padding. This is how they get it out to the 90 minutes.
Soaking the furnace and that sort of thing. A little bit like the leagues of Votann artillery we saw before. These are just like wonderful little pieces in their own right.
Yeah, but let's bring in Uraktar, shall we?
Yeah, he's the big guy.
Round this all out.
So I mean,
Yeah, it's a big model. We kind of figured that.
Powers above even the Dominator engine. Just exceptional.
So he's about the same size as Taria from the Cities of Sigmar. Probably a bit higher than her.
Information that we left out. We need to move on.
yeah, we need to get
Right.
That was
Before
very
I do,
cool. Very
before
cool.
I do, one more thing. I'm aware that lots of people in the chat might be keen to know about Warcry and whether or not
Oh, there you go, Warcry.
the Warhammer Studio team are going to publish rules for using Hellsmith or Hashut or Warcry when they release.
Yeah.
So keep your eyes peeled on the Warhammer Community website. There'll be a free download that lets you try out some of the Hellsmith models in Warcry in your games.
Yeah, so not only will there be a full new army for Warhammer Age of Sigmar, there will also feature an entire new faction in Warcry as well.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
also,
Yes, it would be nice if we segued seamlessly into the Warhammer Underworlds. Welcome to Spikewood. This is an expansion for Warhammer Underworlds. It's the scene is essentially you're in the Spikewood. You have a Hellsmith of Hashut warbands fighting against the Canopy. So it really is industry versus nature.
yeah, there's a strong
The-
rivalry.
They've shown two of these warbands in
All
Underworlds
about like
of these sort of fawn type elves,
all about
but they're still not in Age of Sigmar.
the like aspect of that, following the
Like-
hunter god, Kurnoth. So they will defend the wild places of the mortal realms.
Yeah, so here you can see the two warbands. So this is an expansion, as we say, for Emberguard, and you have the Hellsmiths, the Blood of the Bull.
They're nice. There's some nice models.
A war despot, army advancing into the spike with the suffered she's reversal, so she's regrouped with her sort of remaining warriors, her inner circle.
Your guy with the mace in the hand, he's really nice.
Contesting obviously against the other warband.
And you've got some great artifacts in the mix there as well. I particularly like the Hobgrot.
He did have a call out of
He does, because if you've been playing Warhammer for a very long time, you may remember Hobgoblins from Warhammer Fantasy Battle, and there was a unit called Throat Cutters, I think it was, or Throat Slitters. He was basically a homage to
it's really lovely.
Really
They've got their rules reflect that sort of plunder, take what you want, decimate the landscape, just for the joy of it sort of mentality. The other warband in this set well, there we go, Kurnoth, Herald.
These aren't in AOS yet.
Kit. They make these Kurnothi. Thing to point out with them in terms of like their rules and how they play is they're very defensive because they're holding what they've got. They're not interested in stealing.
I really like these guys. I wish they would add them to Age of Sigmar.
If you're an Underworld player with this new sort of mechanic, they're better. So they're better at defending their own
So
objectives.
it's quite an interesting warband then, because they're quite a fast warband, and usually you expect that to be quite aggressive, but your bonuses are for defensive.
Yeah, so redeploying, fighting in different areas in your own area. And
I love these miniatures. I think we've seen Kurnothi in Underworld before, and this is a kind of expansion of that. But I think this is a phenomenally cool looking warband.
I looked at them too long, and I'm really disturbed by their gemstones
You
glowing in
said
their
that you don't like the glowing belly buttons.
Something about it, man.
I dig it. I'm here for glowing belly buttons.
So there we go.
They need to be brought into Age of Sigmar.
Warhammer Underworlds. What an awesome set of releases for Warhammer Age of Sigmar.
And 10 years of Warhammer.
That's a really fair point. Yeah. 10 years ago this month, we saw the arrival of the Mortal Realms, the birth of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. We're going to be sort of showing over the coming year a whole bunch of interesting things to do with Mortal Realms. So if you enjoy Warhammer Age of Sigmar, you're in for a good time.
It's taken the Hellsmiths a long time to get here, isn't it?
Yeah,
but then they
we've
are
worked
only movement 4.
Raph has respectively reminded us there is in fact 5 more things to
Oh,
talk
there's
about,
more. Look at this.
and we're already getting the move along sign. There are 4 more boxes coming for Warhammer Underworlds. Each box contains 4 warbands. Each box also synergizes with a particular faction. So this is the Order one, the Secret and Shadow. It contains 4 warbands from the Order faction, Grand Alliance, I should say. This is the Death one.
I don't play Underworlds,
Chaos warbands.
but there's some nice models in the range.
I'm allowed to. The Gits of the last, the Destruction warbands. Each, anybody who plays Warhammer Underworld will know this. Each Warhammer Underworld warband is lovely, right? They're just characterful and they home into a different part of the Mortal Realm setting. And you get 4 in a box. It's delightful. To play with them, you would need to pick up this, which is the Warbands of Spitewood. Contains all the cards and everything that you want. So whether you fancy playing with them in Warhammer Underworlds, seamlessly integrating them with their War Scroll cards into Warhammer Age of Sigmar, or just having some different hobby experiences. There's 16 options.
Every one of those boxes is all killer, no filler. There are some beautiful miniatures in there.
Right, so what we got left? 40k and the Horus Heresy and Kill Team.
On out the end of the Mortal Realms.
It would be a good time to check in on Question Corner and see if there are in fact any questions.
Yeah, there's loads. People are very, very excited to hear about the Hellsmiths joining Warcry. That'd be really cool.
Fantastic. We're really pleased because we want them to be able to play with them.
Yeah, and of course the range is stunning, so people are super pumped about that. So there's a bit of confusion about the Grand Alliance they come from. So presumably they come from the Chaos Grand Alliance. So how does it fit in with that?
Yeah, I can take that one. So the Hellsmiths of Shut have a slightly interesting relationship with several factions in the Mortal Realms. They are definitely in the Chaos Grand Alliance. So despite
Hey, Mr. Mythos.
You don't get to play with them.
A small donation in honor of the Thunder Dork.
tusks growing out of your face and horns growing out,
And you'll turn into stone.
yeah, I mean something's going to look they would consider themselves
The Thunderhawk might happen, but there's rumours that they're going to be coming out with plastic ones.
forces of chaos. So perhaps chaos warlords and things would go to their ziggurats and be served with like weapons that they forged in exchange for bounty that is collected across the realms. They also have a kind of symbiotic relationship with the Hobgrots and have traded with like the cool boys and things like that. But they are Chaos Grandalarts.
So how does Hashut fit in with the Chaos Tank?
Really badly.
Yeah, does not play well with others. Is a recurring theme,
So
really.
he is part of the pantheon of the Dwarven gods, right? But he feels ostracised. They understandably want to ostracise him. So the Hellsmiths kind of vilely resent the other Dwarven gods. It's a very fractious relationship, which is why there's such big trouble between them. Great question. Thank you very much. We need to go to our next setting, which we will do by moving to the timeline of the Horus Heresy.
Let's do it.
So there are a multitude of great releases coming if you play Legions Imperialis. It's all tanks. So if you're a
So many
treadhead,
tanks.
settle
So
in,
many tanks.
and we'll take you on a tour.
Really? No Saturnine Terminators for Legion? That's so sad.
Made some really interesting additions to your army. On screen now you can see the Whirlwind Scorpius set.
So that's what the new Whirlwind for the Horus Heresy is going to look like.
Blow them out of their cover. This really is a wonderful way to do it. Built on that famous Rhino chassis, as is the Vindicator Siege Tank Squadron. Essentially, what's the biggest gun you can stick on a Rhino? Oh, it appears to be a gun with a breech
What
big
if I
enough to
want?
stuff a
I
whole
want an
space
even
marine.
bigger gun, though, Adam. I want a bigger gun.
You want to do a heavier siege
I want a
than
heavier
that.
siege gun than that.
Well, I've got some very good news
Oh,
for
that's
you.
it. That's exactly it.
The Typhon Heavy Siege Tank Squadron is on the way. It's even bigger and more dangerous than the Vindicator. And you get like a nice guy with a flamer just warming things up and making sure that everything goes.
Is he contributing? Like, by the time you've been shot by that
I like
siege
to
gun,
imagine
how much of a flamethrower do you really
I
need?
imagine he's just like baking off what's left.
Maybe.
Drive through and like you're getting some, you're getting some. If you want to blow things up from further away,
Cerberus.
maybe there's a Titan Squadron that offends you, and you can do a lot worse than the Cerberus Heavy Tank Destroyer Squadron. These are firing turbo lasers. That guy's offering you a fist bump. It's a wonderful time to be driving tanks over the enemy.
Some debate in the office as to whether it's a heavy tank destroyer or a heavy tank destroyer.
Yeah, exactly. We've had some.
Let us know in the chat which one you think
Yeah,
it is.
do you think it's a heavy tank for destroying or a tank for destroying heavy things? Answers.
Possibly
in the
both.
chat. The heaviest.
Wow, Mastodons.
So heavy, it's super heavy. Is the Mastodon assault transport? What if you want to just pack Space Marines into a tank, drive it across the battlefield, open your gates, and charge into an enemy stronghold, having levelled the walls with a melter array? Then this is the way for you to do so.
No, because there was definitely a Space Marine on there. There was an Assault Marine on the preview picture. So I think we're probably going to see the Mark II Assault Marine squad.
Like standard 140,000 scale, it's beautiful. It's still beautiful at small scale. It's just beautiful.
I had one of them in Horus Heresy. They were a nightmare to build, and they were shit.
In fact, all of the rules for all of the units in Legions Imperialis can be found in Liber Strategia. Essentially, a thing that combines all of the rules in one place. If you've got a copy of the core rules, if you've got a copy of this, you are ready to rock and roll, along with a whole bunch of other rules content. There's too much to go into here and now, but have a look in the article that's going to be on Warhammer Community, and we'll talk more about it closer to the launch. What if
Objective markers?
letters A through F, and you want to mark objectives and or token effects? We're releasing a really just useful set of token markers for you to use in games. I find this sort of thing very useful for reminding me what effects are going on in the game.
To be fair, Legion Imperialis doesn't need all of this stuff.
Imperialis game. The team responsible for this setting have really done a cracking job of making sure that like the rules are accessible, you can get hold of them. It's really fun time.
Yeah, kind of compiled a lot of stuff together.
Yeah.
If I was to do Horus Heresy, I'd probably do Legions.
He was asking me about how we get to all of these rules together, and I just had to sit there quietly knowing that
Wouldn't that be great if they're all in one book?
your prayers have been answered. There's more stuff set within the Age of Darkness. We teased these in the Saturnine preview, but we have the Mark II Assault Squad.
Told you.
We showed one before.
We did, yeah. I absolutely.
They are quite nice.
This is the new Mark II Assault Marines. Mark II is kind of one of the more brutal looking of the various different Space Marine armor marks, and these guys have ramped that up even further. You've got some options in this kit from a variety of different weapon options.
I like the fact that they've got chain axes.
Of them is the chain axe, which is an optional free upgrade to the chain sword. Comes normally with your assault marines.
Yeah, and so the kit's loaded with chain axes. It even has heavy chain axes like the cloud.
I wonder if these would look good white and blue.
More dangerous. Sorry, chainsaws will have a more dangerous effect. Absolutely. There are points-free alternatives. So if you buy these, it's just a straight points, no points involved, just a straight kit swap. If you're dying to have that classic chainsaw loadout, then there's some good news because you can swap the arms with the ones that are on the Mark 6 assault marines, or you can just get them from the upgrade kit. But I think compliance has never looked better than it does with a chain.
There's some great different options in there as well. You've got a couple of heavy chain axes too, which is another upgrade you can put onto some of the models. The Sergeant's got the option for some pistols and close combat weapons. And as you can see with the Salamander on the screen there as well, you can also equip them with combat shield. So loads of different things.
They're nice.
To mix them in with. I would imagine we're also going to see some of these converted with all the different Space Marine kits. One of the lovely things about the Horus Heresy is that so many of the kits are really interchangeable with each other, so you can take bits and heads and arms and weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
Breastplate on these, that high Georgia looks fantastic. They're just fantastic looking models. Well done there. There's more coming as well. We previewed the journal.
So this is your arcane journals for the Horus Heresy. Journal Tacticas, they're going to be called.
On the horizon with the Forges of Saturn, and this is really all about Vulcan's gift to his brothers through the Saturnine project. So it focuses very heavily on all of those suits of armour that we saw in the Saturnine box.
Yeah, there's loads of great new options in this book, particularly allowing you to do more stuff with your Saturnine miniatures. So there are different, basically, things that you can do for your Saturnine miniatures using other kits, mixing kits together to create new units. So this is a really great example. This is a Saturnine command squad. What you've got here is a unit taking bits from the command squad's crews and also some spare bits from someone who's built a Saturnine Praetor with his axe. You get the hammer spare. You can now give it...
Wait a minute. In the PDF article, they said they didn't want you kit bashing. So they've literally just contradicted themselves within a day of releasing that article.
Saturnine Centurion means that you could now have like 2 tiers of Saturnine Commander you can have in your army, and effectively unlock the ability to have an entire Saturnine style army if you wanted to.
Yeah, one of the topics that's handled inside this Journal Tactica is the way the Legion embraced Saturnine armour. Obviously, to use it at all requires you to be at least to some extent psychically sensitive. That really plays into the hands of thousands that sort of get the rub in this. So
Yeah.
we'll tell you more about it as we get closer.
Yeah, there's some really interesting stuff about how the different legions have sort of embraced it. So the Thousand Sons have sort of used it as intended to some extent and kind of put all of their psychic pilots inside them. The Word Bearers immediately crammed it full of demons just to see what would happen. But all of the legions, to some extent, have recognised the lethality of Saturnine technology and find a place for it in their legion.
Perfect. Right. We're still not quite done in this sort of area of the timeline. I am super excited to be able to announce today on behalf of the Black Library that there is a new mega series wave. The Scouring.
Yes.
One called Ashes of the Imperium, and this kicks off a multi-book, multi-author mega series set in
The Scouring is finally happening.
the Horus Heresy is ended. The Emperor is mortally wounded, enshrined upon the Golden Throne. The War Master is dead. The forces of the traitor legions are in full retreat. What happens next? So this series begins essentially at that premise, and here we have a very understandable confrontation between a battered and damaged Rogel Dawn and
Ooh, I'm forward to that.
and as you can see, they're at loggerheads already. Black Library are super excited for us to be announcing this today because this is the culmination of work and effort between a really sort of carefully assembled cabal of writers and creatives that have been putting out a multi-book series which we're going to see play out over several years. I'm really
So they should cover Caliban with the Dark Angels, because that happened at the beginning of the Scouring.
For those of you who want to enjoy it, I promise you spoiler-free. There are 3 principal themes. Theme number 1 is what happens with the Legion starting, right? They essentially caused all of this, or their brothers have. They've ruined the work of the Great Crusade. The Imperium is in tatters. What is the place for the Space Marine Legions in the wake of this attack? The to the traitor legions, the second of these sort of perspectives. The War Master is dead. The whole purpose for doing this has now failed. The Chaos Gods withdraw some of their power. So suddenly they thought they were onto a good thing, and now they're relatively alone and at sea. How do they survive? How do they regroup? The third group is, in my opinion, maybe the most compelling, which is what humanity, right? They've just watched these demigods wage war across the Imperium, ruin everything, destroy the Emperor's great works, the Emperor is mortally wounded. How do they respond? How does humanity rally, and how does it perceive the place of the Space Marines that remain?
Absolutely, and I think worth saying as well. This is absolutely, you can treat this as a self-contained series.
Oh yeah.
If you have read all of the Horus Heresy from Horus Rising all the way through the full novel series, and then gone through the Siege of Terror, first of all, very well done. There's a lot of books to read, some great stories in there. But if you are new to the Horus Heresy and kind of the setting and the era, you can absolutely just jump in with Attis's Imperium and treat the Scouring as a series in itself.
Yeah, I have to give a little bit of a shout out to Chris Wright as well, who's the author chosen for the first book.
Yeah.
He's gangster of words. He's written some of the really fantastic Black Library novels. If you've never read a Chris Wright book and you just want to dip your toes in ahead of trying this, I could not recommend enough Valdor, Birth of the Imperium. It sort of sits outside the rest of the sort of Horus Heresy experience a little bit. And it's like top tier Black Library fiction, and might be a fun way to sort of whet your appetite for more Chris Wright. As we approach the release of this, we're going to have a full-length interview with Chris, talking about Ashes of the Imperium and all the that's gone into it and the narrative that unfolds. More on that on Warhammer Community as we have it.
Yeah, very exciting.
That was awesome. I really am super excited for it. We're not done yet.
We're not even close.
We promised that we would return to the grim darkness of the Dark Millennium, and we do now with 5 new Space Marine heroes for 5.
Here we go, boys. 2.0.
So this is a model returning that's previously been in metal and resin and is now in plastic. Vulcan Heston is a famed hero of the Salamanders chapter.
Show me Pedro Canto.
To scour the galaxy, looking for the relics left by his Primarch, the namesake Vulcan. He wears some of those relics himself, so he is equipped with an artificer's suit of armor. He is carrying a handheld heavy flamer and a blade of Vulcan that crackles with magma fire and is able to slice through enemy warriors. He's also walking through flames, just in case you weren't sure he was as cool as he can be. He's just walking through the fire there as well. He is probably the most iconic Salamanders character that exists in Warhammer 40,000, and it's great to see him in plastic. He has a couple of head options. You can have helmeted or unhelmeted.
Health and safety first.
Both of them look very, very cool indeed. He is only one of the 5 new characters.
Next up we have
Lysander, shock horror. He looks awesome.
Lysander, first captain of the first company, I probably should say, of the Imperial Fists chapter. He's been remade in the sort of new Terminator armor style that we saw for the first time.
Yeah, the same scale as the ones in the recent one.
And he is a substantial man in that armor. He has an enormous storm shield, carrying that incredible looking.
Might be the best storm shield in Warhammer. It's up there.
It's right up there. Yeah, I think the lion.
I like that he has the helmet. That's really nice.
Everything you'd expect from this iconic hero of the Imperial Fists chapter.
Nice to see a helmeted option in there.
Yeah, absolutely. They're taking.
You don't want to paint a face, and sometimes you just want to get on the battlefield nice and fast.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't yellow, I don't know, I might find it easy to paint the face. He is not the only. There are 5 of them all together. So next up we have Kamog Var, a new character for the Iron Hands chapter. This is the captain of the Averni clan.
Yeah, the equivalent to the kind of captain of the first company.
Yeah.
Again, a Terminator in the same scale as the recent new Terminator kit.
That's pretty cool.
Really lovely little features on here, really leaning into the kind of Iron Hands lore. You've got lots of nods towards his technological know-how and their kind of alliance with the mechanical.
Yeah, he's got sort of servo skulls attacked by data tethers, sort of conjuring information. Look at the one in the bottom right-hand corner. He looks like he's projecting a fortress of redemption.
Yeah, he's got like a little holograph of perhaps a building that they're planning to besiege.
And I think my favourite thing in this model is actually the power maul, which is shaped after a Tetsu bow, not a weapon I'm used to seeing, and it really works on this guy, sort of straightforward, practical, extreme. Next up, and I think for many people this will be the sort of
This one's cool, guys.
the model which fires your imagination. The Raven Guard have a new chapter master.
Absolutely love this.
Wow.
The new chapter master of the Raven Guard. You might be saying, Eddie, they already have a chapter master. What happened to Shrike? Shrike has led the Raven Guard for some years, but has decided actually his place is better in the shadows as the captain of Stealth Assault, and he has left Ethion Shan to lead the Raven Guard as their figurehead and their commander. And the miniature is absolutely phenomenal.
That is insane.
Grimnar released, I think only this last weekend, and this continues the tradition of having just an absolutely phenomenally cool looking chapter master miniature.
Yeah, he's redolent in sort of the imagery of the Raven Guard chapter you'd expect to see. There's those sort of tassels that sort of dangle from him with the sort of secret runic script of deliverance. He's got feathers and fetishes.
Those
and
claws.
he's got 3 head options. Aethon Shan is a really just tremendous sentry mod.
Show me Pedro Cantor.
Fans out there are going to be delighted by what he presents. And there's one more. Votann Khan. He is
No Pedro Cantor.
of the White Scars chapter, so he leads its first company on this just mighty looking grav bike. It's got a Gatling cannon mounted into the front. He's just the perfect embodiment of that White Scars hero huntsman archetype.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. There's all sorts of beautiful Chigorian details on in there. You can see the kind of pattern on the front of the jet bike is very reminiscent of some of their Heresy era designs on their dreadnoughts and things like that. We've got the model with us in a second. We're going to have a look at it, but there's some beautiful detail on the back. He's got kind of Chigorian shields and sheaths and decapitated enemy heads and stuff like that. It is just the most White Scars looking thing you've ever seen. It fits beautifully in an army if you've got lots of outriders and fast moving stuff. It's been quite a long wait for the White Scars to have a character on a bike.
They really just need to release a multi-part kit for the bikes and some jet bikes.
There's some questions to answer there.
Yeah, they need to do that.
Coming out. Listen carefully, I'll explain the one piece of nuance to this. So Votann Khan is in the White Scars combat patrol. You see it here. It's 3 outrider bikes, an intercessor assault squad, transport, and the Votann Khan. He will be available separately not that long after the release of his combat patrol. He's the only one of these new heroes that comes inside a combat patrol. The others are available separately, but here are the combat patrols that come out with them. So you have an Imperial Fist combat patrol, just full of heavily armoured Imperial Fist troops. You've got Terminators and a command group, and it just looks wonderful. Next up, Iron Hands, heavy intercessors, heavy weapons, everything you might expect from these tough, durable warriors of the Iron Hands chapter. The Raven Guard, a bit more
Fast and Phobos.
yeah, fast. That's good. I like that. That was strong. Yeah, they're going to get in amongst it much faster. Imagine Aethon Shan leading those would be tremendous. But what if you just want to carry all the flames all the time? Every model in this entire combat patrol has something that makes you hot.
Either a melter gun or a flamethrower in some way, shape, or form.
I think there's some assault intercessors who maybe ruin my attempt to. You know what? That is a lot.
I like heavy intercessors. I think they're pretty cool.
The new transfers in those kits as well, Adam. I know you were a very big fan of that when we were looking
just,
through.
hit
kits.
on my secret nerd part of Warhammer. I get really excited by transfer sheets. I can't do freehand to save my life, but I can stick a decal on with the best of them. Each of these will come with its own transfer sheet, which means that you can apply all the details of the heraldry and everything. And there's loads of cool extras on those. Case in point, the Imperial Fist one has some decals that do Crimson Fists. So if you
But no Pedro Cantor. You've screwed the fists.
we'll show you those ahead of time so you can sort of plan your purchases and your playing experiences as we get closer to these.
Yeah,
Have a look at the models.
I've got some of the miniatures right here. We've got some kind of classic stuff so you can see the scale of them. We've also got some of the new miniatures. So if we start off over here with the Raven Guard side, I brought along a assault intercessor side. It's not a small model by any stretch of the imagination, but you sort of get a sense of how big the new chapter master of the Raven Guard is there. He's a big base. He's going to be quite an intimidating character. Certainly going to be the largest of your infantry models. Probably standing not far off the height of a Redemptor Dreadnought at the top of his base there.
Yeah, what's interesting is you may have a tactical rock to sort of raise him up a little, but Darnus Lysander is such a brute that he He's not that much shorter than either of the two models we just mentioned. He really is very dominating. And then Sabogan Khan next to an Outrider. First of all, check out the sort of similarities between the stylings, the sort of the shape of the bike, very sort of reminiscent of things that you see on the Outrider. But if you spin it around,
There are so many lovely details on it. I really like the shield. There's some sheaths and some extra weapons.
I just feel like the White Scars need a jet bike unit.
If you wanted to do some like Chigorian freehand or something like that, I think that's going to be up there with the golden beams and things. So that people choose the models.
It's exciting to see what people
really
do
nice.
with it. There we are. Space Marine.
Surely that's all the Space Marines we have time for.
So you say that, but there is a little bit more Space Marine on the way. This one's really easy because I got to help a little bit on the team that have brought this to life. I am over the moon to present the first ever officially licensed wearable Space Marine helmet. This is the Lieutenant Titus
Got one.
helmet made by Joytoy. If you've not heard of Joytoy, where have you been hiding? Joytoy makes
GW trying to compete with 3D printers.
they do Warhammer 40,000 ones, and they do Warhammer Sigmar ones, and they do Warhammer Dwarfs Heresy ones, and now they have made this incredible helmet. It's just really something, and I can talk about some of its features. Inside, it's got an adjustable sort of headband, so you can change it to fit your head. What that means is that unless you've got the tiniest of heads, like a small child or a drop, you should be able to make it fit.
The thing is,
The most
printing one is still cheaper.
potato head imaginable.
I think I'm going to say what everyone is thinking, which is just put it on.
Yeah, I will. But before I do, so this is the prototype that we've been sort of working with them on. And before I do, I'm going to flip a switch because we're under very bright studio lights.
Do you know what I mean, Mythos? You just print yourself one. It'll be way cheaper.
Some really great pictures that you'll be able to see later. But I feel like a Space Marine already. This is
I
just
feel like I'm
the
standing
best.
next to a Space Marine.
I mean, it's never felt so good to feel like Lieutenant Titus. So the lenses inside illuminate. You can buy it with this lovely display stand as well. This is the
I feel that's going to be at least 100 quid.
a battle barge or a Fortress Monastery cell where a Space Marine might put his war gear when he's finished on campaign.
Yeah, it would be cheaper to buy a 3D printer and the files and just print in one than it is to buy that.
Get your hands on it, I guess, is the question.
When can I get my hands on it?
I'm glad you asked. The answer is when this preview show is done, the pre-orders begin. So
Right, okay. So
.com, and
I'll be at work, but feel free to, you know, Mythos,
in the flesh.
fire it into the Discord.
Very, very easy. We're still not done with Warhammer 40,000. We need to go from Kill Team to the Kill Team.
Necrons, cool. Deathwatch. Primaris Deathwatch kill team. It's only taken them how many years?
So, an amazing new box for Kill Team, a new expansion, 2 brand new kill teams, a new kill zone, some incredible miniatures. Let's take a look. This is Kill Team Tomb World, and you get absolutely loads in this box.
It's just bursting with good
This
stuff.
might be the best Kill Team box we've released. It's
Well,
way up there.
and I
isn't it?
struggle
It's
to
up there.
argue.
It's up there. There's some beautiful stuff in here. I mean, like if we talk about the battlefield first, you've got some absolutely amazing Necron scenery, in a little bit like the Into the Dark scenery we saw
Yeah, absolutely.
a little while back, and certainly allows you to play games in that same sort of style. Doesn't replace it necessarily, but allows you to play that kind of close confines, up close battles. Really thematic. You've got kind of undead Necron crypts as the warriors wake from their eons long slumber. But the kill teams themselves are probably where the real excitement is. So if we start off with the Deathwatch kill team, this is the return of the original kill team. The name kill team itself comes from the concept of Deathwatch, and they have come out with an amazing new range of miniatures. There are 10 of these guys in box. You can build them in a whole range of different ways, and there are some lovely features.
They really need to be a multi-part kit.
That's a big part, right? So, sort of bottom right, you have a flesh terrier holding a frag cannon, because that's the best way to greet the Xenos, right? You can't really go wrong. I call him out as a Flesh Terror because I happen to know who he is. One of the things that's really striking about this set is that there's loads of different heraldic devices available.
Some quite obscure chapters as well.
Yeah, I mean, so Flesh Terrors are perhaps not obscure, but they're not necessarily what you might expect. For example, top centre, that's a member of the Wolf Spears, which is one of the few successors to the Space Wolf chapter. You've got an Ultramarine on the right-hand side. The crossed swords on the one bottom left, I think, is probably making him the Guardian of Covenant.
I think you might be right.
And as a Dark Angels collector, that's quite exciting.
We had a fun game earlier on where we tried to guess all the different chapters.
Yeah.
A red scorpion in there as well. That you can't quite make him out.
There's 5 more that you can see here. So if you see any that are a chapter that you're interested in, shout them out in the chat. I think the top model guys are going to get some attention because there's a lot of fans for those guys. Loads of options, loads of different specialisations for your kill team to be built with. They really are the personification of pick the right weapon for the job when you start.
And when you play kill team, the way that this any kill team works,
I like that Space Wolf head.
of different warriors, and then you can choose the ones you want before your game starts. You get 10 models in this box to make your kill team. You've got loads of different options, and then you choose before each game. Your kill team in game will be 5 of those warriors. You can pick any 5 you want.
Check it out with the underslung grenade launch and all of the remains extremely harnessed.
It's great to see a mix of Gravis and Phobos and Tacticus
absolutely.
as well. So that's a Gravis, effectively a heavy intercessor archetype, but he's even more upgunned than you might expect a normal heavy intercessor to be, which have already got quite big guns. In game terms, the Death Watch have got all sorts of specialist Xenos killing kit, but one of their things is effectively in each turning point you can choose one of them to use a special piece of ammunition, and you can basically pick a special rule for that gun to have, so you can do blast or precision or extra AP or something like that. So that a kind of quite long-standing concept of them having the ammunition to do exactly the job you need them to do makes its way into kill team, as well as to just be pretty good all-round space.
Yeah, it's a nice little part to it.
There's also
Ooh.
circle. These are the
It's kind of cool.
guardians of this tomb complex. Essentially, their job has been to oversee the reanimation protocols of all of the Necrons that you see in these alcoves. We'll show you some more of the training in a bit. And so these are the sentinels that are ready to now sort of attack the interloper.
And they were just going about their business, waking up all the Necrons, and all of a sudden this very rude kill team of Deathwatch burst into their crypt and decided to start wrecking up the place. So they've had to mobilize against them. It is a very powerful kill team. This is the Canoptech Circle. It is led by a Geomancer, which is a type of Cryptech. That's the model you can see there. She is the leader of the warband, and she definitely kind of is the core of the force, right? So
And she's big and powerful.
she's big and powerful. Yeah, she alone can take on a Space Marine, but the other troops in her force need her to kind of be at the centre to kind of coordinate the effort. You've got a few different other models in the mix there as well. As the Geomancer, you have
the larger thing on the left-hand side with the guns on the top is the Tomb Crawler. Then sort of the right hand, and there's another one sort of central to the right-hand side. Then the smaller things, they are your reanimators or your warriors. So normally, day to day, they'll just be fooling around, making sure everything's safe and well. They'll be reanimating some Necrons, but when the Deathwatch come knocking, they reach into
the Crawlers have got some particularly formidable weaponry, right? So like they're up against the Deathwatch kill team, so the guns on those can take out Space Marine if they get a good solid round of firepower. They are one of the you've got your kind of central character which does all the kind of utility stuff, then you've got 2 really good solid gun platforms, and then you've got the rest of the force which whizzes around and does the objective taking stuff. So it's a really flexible little kill team. Also worth pointing out that the box has a bunch of Necron warriors. Why does it have a bunch of Necron warriors, you might ask? They're not in the kill team. Well, one of the other things that you get inside this box is rules for playing basically co-op missions where you both play as Deathwatch and you're up against hordes, undying hordes of Necron warriors.
Joint operations is super fun, and the chance to do this as a Deathwatch kill team, sort of stalking around the Necron, awakening Necron tomb complexes, almost talking into the same
and just a great other way of playing the game.
And I'm going to totally jump on it. Have a look around this board, and you can see in some of those alcoves there are those reanimating Necrons and stuff.
And there's like weird portals and glyphs and all sorts of stuff.
Replete with cool imagery. There's fallen masonry. You can imagine they've been asleep for so long that seismic events whenever, of course, need to fall down. Plus, and this is going to be just peak Warhammer adventures in a team context. I love it.
And of course, both of these kill teams will be usable in Warhammer 40,000.
absolutely.
There'll be a way to use your Death Watch in Deathwing as well, and your new Necron. And of course, there is a new book, a new dossier that comes with this, which has all the rules you need to play these in your game.
Yeah, let's have a look at some of them in the flesh. It comes in a box, maybe. Let's have a look at some of these in the flesh. In particular, it'd be good to get the Geomancer in because that gives a sense of the scale. So my favourite would be Frank Cannon, but when you put the Geomancer in, so there's some like
Filler.
events here, which is quite cool. You're having the Geomancer was like a lady. If you haven't already tweaked the units. So you get a nice mix of scale from obviously the Geomancer and the animators on the sides. Loads of stuff to feast on. This is going to be a very exciting time because I think definitely a lot of fans. And they're so iconic within the concept of Proton.
Yeah, I think wouldn't be an exaggeration to say the most requested kill team, since the concept of kill team was sort of re-emerged into.
Yes, absolutely. Right.
Is that it?
We've done it.
We're around the 90-minute mark. I did say it would be a long one, but we've shown you all of our Warhammer previews. We should go to question corner. That's good, Tom. Well done. Simon, there's probably a question or three, right?
There's quite a few. Yeah. Do you want some rapid fire ones to get you going?
Hit us. Let's see what we can do.
We're within 12.
Okay, let's go. So start off with Old World. Are the new Tomb King minis resin or plastic?
They are plastic.
Plastic. Let's go with the Kill Team Tomb World. Is the new Necron terrain similar in dimension to the Gallowdark?
It is similar. I don't think it's exactly the same.
Yeah, Gallowdark would be a good reference point.
So we've got Warhammer Underworlds. Will the new warbands or any of the re-released Grand Alliance warbands be receiving rules to use in
Must say I don't envy the dude from the Death Watch that got sent there with 2 knives, but under grid.
One thing that is worth saying
Version 1 in Discord, awesome.
have a place for Underworld warbands.
If you do want to join the Discord, anybody, there is a link on the YouTube page. You can join it there.
The
I think that's a more comprehensive answer.
That's
Eddie,
probably
than
the way the place that you'll find them.
Yeah, I'd just say. The Hellsmith are going into Warfare for already. Yes, yeah, well done.
So
Been a long night.
the Adepts Astartes ones we've just seen. Does Subadan Khan have a helmet?
He does have a helmeted option.
Although I think
Safety first.
any adherence to health and safety would be an absolute abomination when you're riding things.
You might be riding in a vacuum, at which point
no,
you're probably
just
allowed.
hold your breath.
Just
Get on with it.
okay.
Yeah. No one asked about heresy.
So where can we expect to see the law and rules?
That is a great question. The rules will be available online.
So some of the rules, if the character is being re-released, already exist.
Yeah,
in Codex
that's true.
Space Marine.
So
So
Karnak, Lysander,
yeah,
covered up
Vulcan and
already.
Lysander are already there. The other rules will be available online.
And I'm really glad you asked about the lore because I know a thing. Phil Kelly from the Warhammer 40,000 lore team came and had a chat with me, and they've written full background for each of these characters and narrative stories, which will be hosting a Warhammer community in the week leading up to their release when that happens. I'm super excited because I don't know anything about Aegon Shan and I want to learn his story. So yeah.
Awesome. So we've got 2 more quick ones if we can. So the Horus Heresy Age of Darkness. Are some of the Wargate options that are currently not available to certain units ever going to be revisited?
So that's a good question. So we do know that there will be more things released in plastic across the course of this edition. With some of those plastic kits, you may see Wargear options returning that previously have been available. You might also see some Wargear options that have never existed before added to those units. So hopefully that answers some of them.
Yeah, grand. One last one was on the scouring. How many books can we expect soon?
At least 1, because it's got the number 1 on the side of it. I don't want to steal the thunder of any future sort of news from Black Library other than to announce it today. But what they
Just join the Discord. Cheers for letting me know there is one.
Cheers,
Cheers, buddy. Welcome.
The editing team from Black Library, as they sort of poured the scouring lore into my open brain, was this is a multi-book, multi-author series, and so we're going to be following it for some years to come.
Yeah. Well,
But-
there's bazillions more questions that I couldn't possibly get to. They're scrolling past so quick. It's all I could do to find one way. But yeah,
That's great.
Is that us done?
what remains, I guess, at this point in the juncture is, first of all, to thank all of you for tuning in and spending 90 minutes of brilliant Warhammer fun with us. I've really enjoyed myself.
What a great time. I always have a great
Awesome. There's some like general housekeeping to do. If you've missed anything in this and you want to know more,
Check out Pointy Paints, his videos tomorrow, and when he goes through everything and goes into detail of what's coming.
more information, then Eddie and I would have remembered to tell you.
Also, hit like and subscribe.
You can watch the videos back as well. If you are looking for more Warhammer excitement right now in your life, we're going to throw back to Tacoma, where there's Warhammer.
No, we're not. I'm going to go to work.
I believe right now is what we're going back to. So you can hang around here, especially on the Twitch channel. I believe that's true. What else is there to say? The helmet. Go and find it on warhammermerch.com.
Yeah, sounds right.
Brilliant. Right. Thank you, Simon.
No little teaser to close out on.
Work. Eddie, it's been a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
We can't wait to see you again next time. Take care.
No. Right, people, that is it. Thank you very much for joining me. It's been a pleasure. Some pretty cool stuff. Chaos Dwarfs definitely stole the show. And not much for the Heresy, which is quite amusing. But yeah, but I'll be doing some videos tomorrow about some of the big highlights, looking at a little bit more in depth, because you generally get a lot more information in the articles than you do from the actual preview itself. But we'll do that tomorrow. So yeah, if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Hit that subscribe button, like, share, and all that good stuff. And cheers, Mythos. The Thunderhawk will arrive one day in the future. But I will catch everyone later. See you. Bye. I need